Hey guys, Trainer Davey here with some huge tips for you when it comes to open water swim prep. The fact of the matter is that open water swimming can be downright intimidating, and I've personally had some very bad experiences with it myself. But don't worry about a thing, because Jess and I have a few helpful tips that will eliminate all your anxiety of open water swimming on race day. The idea here is to be prepared by knowing what to expect on race day, and then just get comfortable with everything that's going to be coming your way. It's more simple than you might think, and really it just requires a few simple steps. So the first one is deep water / choppy water swimming. The first thing that can be intimidating about open water swimming is deep water swimming, because it's different than a pool. In a pool you can stand up at any point in time you want, you can take a rest, but not so with deeper water. So what you're going to do is just practice going a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper until you get comfortable without swimming with the aid of the bottom of the pool. And this will really help increase your endurance and your confidence. And don't worry, if you ever get tired out there, just take a minute to float, catch your breath, tread water, and then get back into your swim stroke. Now when you get out to the deep water, this can be a huge mental barrier, but just remember, relax. It's no different than swimming just like you were in a shallow pool. The next thing that might be new about an open water swim is rounding buoys. So for me, other than turning around at the end of the pool, I had never practiced swimming, cutting around a buoy, and it was kind of a challenge in my first triathlon race. So to practice this, take some time swimming deep into the water and then cutting corners around the buoys. And you'll find it takes somewhat of a new technique, so make sure you just try this ahead of time. If a few times out and back or around, hit 2 buoys. My tip here is to breathe on whatever side is facing the buoy, and that way you'll be able to see it while you're turning the corner, and you won't have to stop and find out where you are, where it is, run into it, get caught in the crowd. You get the idea. What goes right along with swimming around buoys is getting there in the first place. So let's talk about sighting, so you can get there faster without zigzagging all over the place and wasting precious energy. Sighting is all about rhythm, and just like anything else, you'll have to practice it until it becomes second nature. We talk about sighting more in depth in our beginner triathlon training program, but basically what you'll do is you'll lift your head up as you're taking a breath, and you'll get your bearings when on something in the distance, and then you keep on swimming. Open water swims are a great opportunity to practice these because you don't have that sighting line down at the bottom of the pool, and you're depending on looking forward or to the side to find a landmark and then aim for it. Now I want to talk about an idea I came up with that I call double sighting corrections, and it really helps me stay in a straight line while swimming. So here's the scenario. I'm swimming along and I sight, and I realize that I'm way off course and I need to correct while I keep swimming. But just imagine what it looks like if I either overcorrect or undercorrect, for that matter. So the solution is to double sight if you have a big correction to make. So it looks like this. You're swimming, you take a look, oh, I need to turn slightly, and then you're swimming, you take another look, and okay, I'm good, I'm lined up, I'm in the direction I need to be going. Now there's also sighting to the side. One additional benefit of bilateral breathing, or breathing on both sides, is that you can pick up waypoints on either side of your body. For example, during my last triathlon, there was a bridge on one side, and then there was the downtown cityscape on the other side, so I just made sure I was going in the right direction with these things on each side of me. It was easy. Another thing you want to practice beforehand is clearing your goggles. And you may not have heard of this before. But my luck with goggles and getting a good fit has not always been on my side. And some days they work great, some days not so much. So just in case they decide to become leaky or fog up in the middle of my race, I started practicing clearing my goggles while swimming, just in case. So we can take a lesson here from scuba diving, where these guys, they always want to be prepared for worst case scenarios. So that's why divers practice these things, like clearing their mask, clearing their goggles, before they go 60 feet down. So just like you, practice coming up, clearing your goggles real quick, sticking them back on there, and continuing on your swim. This actually happened to Jess during her last triathlon. Her goggles got so foggy she couldn't see the swim exit, so she had to stop for a second, tread water, and unfog them quickly. But if you can, try to keep kicking and keep that forward momentum, kind of like the swim drill where you propel yourself forward using only your legs. It's tough, but it's better to keep moving forward and to multitask while you're cleaning your goggles as much as possible, so that you don't have to stop and lose momentum. But if you have to stop, that's okay too. The next thing you want to practice with your open water swims is starting your entry and your exit. So sometimes a race will start on land and you run into the water. Other times you jump off a dock, and whether that's the case or not, it's always a good idea to give it a try a few times beforehand. So practice running from the beach into the water and start swimming. Jess wrote a great post on this about the best places to position yourself during the swim start, so that you're able to swim in less crowded areas. Very helpful. And also try our swim run brick stack workout to get the hang of this. Basically what you're going to do is sprint into the water with kicking high knees until you get about up to your thighs, and then jump in and swim on from there. Along with that, you want to practice your exit and running up to T1. Remember that game when you were a kid and your friends would put your forehead on a baseball bat and you'd spin around until you're sufficiently dizzy, and then you'd race to first base and you'd be all dizzy? Well, that's kind of how you feel after getting out of the water and running to T1. You're lightheaded, you're dizzy, you might be disoriented, but with a little bit of practice, you'll nail it. It gets easier. So just like entering the water, run with high knees coming out, and practice our swim, run, brick stack workout for this, because it's really helpful. And also make sure that you keep swimming until you touch the bottom of the shore with your hand while swimming. Don't just stand up and try and run the second you think you're able to stand, because it's much easier to swim than to try and run when you're waist deep in the water. Plus the bottom always creeps Jess out. There's creepy crawlies and fish biting her under there. So she has to swim as far as she can to shore before she gets out. So as far as warming up before your race, check out this video for some great stretches and warm-ups that will get your blood flowing, your arms and your body ready for the swim. And this is a perfect warm-up for those times when you're not allowed to warm up in the water before a race. Practicing these things will help build your confidence for race day, and you'll be swimming like a pro in no time at all. So go out there, practice your open water swims, and be awesome. For more tips and beginner triathlon training workouts, check out 2try.com.